And welcome back. It is another grading video. This time out, we will be looking at this stack of My Greatest Adventure. So, if you want to learn how to grade comic books, or at least learn how I do it, or if you just like looking at old Silver Age DC comics, this is the video for you. So, stick around and have some fun. You just might learn something before we're done. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghai. My name is Duke, and this is a grading video. And as I noted in the teaser, we will be looking at this stack of My Greatest Adventure comics from kind of way back, 10-cent issue here. What year is this? Let's take a look. Looks like that is 1959. Holy cannolis. So, yeah, this will be fun. Let me just pause long enough to give the beg. Please like, share, subscribe, do all of that. This is a new channel, just 15 subscribers at this point, 27, 8 videos out now. So, please, help this channel grow. Like, share, subscribe, definitely comment. Let me know what you're thinking about how you would grade these books, or just if you have anything to say about this particular DC series. And then the other thing to note is the disclaimer. These are not my books. I am grading these for work, and that work is .com Comics and Collectibles / sellmycomicbooks.com. And you've probably seen on the Sell My Comic Books channel on YouTube, books being unboxed. When we buy collections from all over the world, they come in, and we unbox those and we film that. Not all of them, but most of them. So you may even have seen a video with these books being unboxed. And so what happens is the next step of the process, once those books have been sorted, some go to CGC, some go in the retail store, some end up in lots, and the ones that are set aside to be sold on eBay as raw singles, we don't send them to CGC to have them graded. We actually grade them in-house. That's my job. I grade those books, and within a week or two of when you see this video, or maybe not when you see it, but when it goes up online, these books will be on eBay on the .com Comics eBay account. So hey, let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. So here's this book, and we look at this, and instantly it's got nice eye appeal, and you might think, wow, that's a 7 anyway. But you can see, uh-oh, and let's look, and it is. That cover is completely detached, and it also looks like the next wrap is detached. And is that second wrap detached at the bottom staple? No, it's attached. So the cover and one wrap are detached. So here's the question for you right up front. What would you do? If you get a book that's an apparent, well, if you take out for the kind of the tears here and here, let's say it was a 6. How would you knock off for that cover being detached? I have seen people say that a book with the cover detached can't be more than a 3. Some will tell you it can't be a 2. I've even seen people who will say, a cover detachment, regardless of the condition of the book, it has to be a 1/8. Wide variety of opinions on that. So tell me what you think. I am going to tell you that this book is in such nice condition all around and everywhere else. And on the back, I would be close to calling that a 7, but for these tears. I think I can go a 4 or 5 on a cover detachment, even though the cover and first wrap are detached. Let's just take a spin inside, though, and see what else is going on, if anything. Boom, boom. 20th century caveman. Basically, I want to see what the centerfold looks like and if that is detached. And it's not. The centerfold is good. So yeah, I think because of the overall condition of the book, I'm going to go a 4 or 5 on that. So you comment below and tell me if you think I'm crazy, if that is really more than you could bear. But that is that's what I'm going to do. This is unfortunate up here. I was almost like, oh, wow, that's a nice looking book. And then I see this. Yeah. And if you saw the last video, we had a bunch of House of Secrets and Metalman comics that had this writing on them. And here it says R78. And I think that's either an arrival date or a date that's 30 days after the arrival date. Because July, if that's July 8th, July, August, September, October. So, and the cover date was always 3 months after it went on sale, because this book would have gone on sale in June with the September cover date. So July, I think that's when the retailer intended to pull it off the stands. The distributor wants you to keep it on the stands until September, but a lot of retailers having limited space, even in mom and pop stores, once that next issue came in, they would pull the previous issue and keep it below the counter or something until the distributor came calling for it. So I think that's probably a notation from the retailer to remind themselves when to pull it. But yeah, see that fold there. Otherwise, that's a real nice looking book. It's close to a 7. You got a little bit of very minor kind of waviness here, and I don't want to call it water damage or even moisture wrinkling, but just a little bit of waviness there that will detract from the grade a little bit. We'll see how this looks. These pages are tanning up. I was a captive of the super robot. And you'll see a lot of titles like that because it's my greatest adventure, so it's first person. So it was a lot of an I was this, I was that, I was a teenage vampire, I was a wizard of the past. And the mystery of I solved the mystery of Volcano Valley. So a lot of I did this, I did that, I. Kind of like an Obama speech. I. So yeah, that's close to a 7, but with that up there, it's not that bad, but the way it's folded back and folded back over the spine, it makes it kind of ugly. So I think I'm going to call that a 6. If it was just a tear and a fold, I could probably get away with a 6.5, because that's really the only kind of damage on this book. You got some spine stresses here. You probably got about 5 or 6 spine stresses right in there. A little bit here, a little bit of blunting here, and that kind of waviness I mentioned. I do that a lot. It's like really good, except for this, and this. But again, I'm looking at grading. I'm looking at every teeniest, tiniest imperfection. And, even the small ones do mount up. So I'm going to call that a 6. What would you call that? You leave a comment below and tell me what you think that grade ought to be. But I'm putting a 6.0 on it. I battled the Volcano Man. Huh. And see, the thing about My Greatest Adventure is until the Doom Patrol came along, it never had a continuing character. And you would think that this series would be ripe for some kind of continuing character. In the last video, we talked about Mark Merlin in House of Secrets. And of course, you had, Adam Strange and Space Ranger over in Mystery in Space and Strange Tales. My Greatest Adventure, you think, would have been right for some kind of continuing character, even a superhero. And, any story in one of these issues, you could just about pull out somebody that could have been turned into a superhero, kind of in the fashion of the way, in Tales to Astonish, you had the Man in the Anthill, which was kind of a throwaway story like any one of these. But, once the superhero started taking off, Stan Lee went back and he was like, that one, I can make a superhero out of that guy. And thus was born Ant-Man. Any one of these My Greatest Adventure issues, you could almost find a potential superhero in any of them. That would be fun today, actually, to go back through old My Greatest Adventure comics and create a team of superheroes from, the one-off characters that appeared in this book. I'm probably giving DC a great idea that I ought to keep to myself. Do it on my own. All right, so this one is still a 10 center. Still, it's got this writing on here again, R. I think the R was probably removed, and it's 8.6, and so that's 2 months before the cover date. So I think that's what that was. That's a removal date, the retailer reminding themselves. So here you've got a lot of, not just small stress marks, but some pretty, you got 4 pretty significant tears here. 4 really significant stress marks. Not really tears that go all the way through the paper, but it's kind of rough. And a little bit of wrinkling here as well. You've got a kind of a little bit of a fold here. Otherwise, though, it's pretty solid along the top, splunting on both corners, and you can see that one better if I hold it on the camera. Back cover looks good. Let's look through the inside. Let's see. We already know this last one is I battled the Volcano Man. And let's see here. There's the centerfold right there. Centerfold's good. What did this guy do? We, not just I this time, it's we. We found the $1 Million Monster. I bet you that's him. Big old, whoops, crab thing. Be careful how I handle these things. And then I was bewitched by Lady Doom. Well, welcome to manhood, my brother. Happens to the best of us. So I think that's going to be a, I'm going to go 5.5 on that. It's these stresses aren't enough to knock it down to a 5, but it's not quite a 6 either, because you've heard me say this before. A 6 should look like a book that was, read once or twice and handled carefully. And these tears are just a little bit too much. This book was handled with maybe a little too much love. Somebody let their younger brother read it, and he wasn't as careful as he should have been, and he probably got a whooping for it. That's what I would have done if I'd had a younger brother. We found the Ice Age giant. Oh, this makes me sad. Look at this. Can you see this water damage all along here? I don't know how well that'll show on the camera. Oh, and it's pretty stiff, too. Ooh, that back cover feels icky. Oh, look at that. Oh, you're breaking my heart. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. Well, let's go ahead and look through the inside anyway. We found the Ice Age giant. What else are we or I doing here? I led the Sinister Safari. Sinister Safari, that sounds like a good... We battled the Storm Creature. So there you go. 1960, this book. But, I mean, it's all through here, it's a nice looking book. And it's like, wow, that would be a 7, maybe a 7.5. And then, boom. I think that's got to go down to a 3. That's pretty significant. There's no mold or anything, but God, that's pretty significant. I don't know if we can kind of... No, it's probably best just to leave it the way it was. Gosh. Maybe a 3.5. Well, God. Just the rest of the book looks so nice. But somebody spilt their soda on it, or their coffee, or something. You've got that arrival date here. R1010. Is that a 10? Yeah, it looks like a 10. 3 or 3.5. What do you think? What would you do? I think I might go with 3.5 just because the rest of it is so good. And the inside pages, I mean, there's nothing wrong with those inside pages. Yeah, they have a little bit of a different feel to them, but only slightly. Is that centerfold detached? Did I miss that? It doesn't look as great as I would like it to look. Where did it go? I guess it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I'm going to go 3.5 on that. I am. And because the water damage is mostly just confined to the cover, the inside of the book is plenty readable. I mean, if you just had the book like that, you probably wouldn't even know it had water damage until you flip to the cover. So 3.5 is what I'm going to do on that. That's the best I can do. This is a nice looking book. I Became the Beetle Beast. So there you go. Blue Beetle battles the Beetle Beast. What do we got on here? R17. This cover doesn't look like it's really super. Got a bend here. We've got some tearing there at that top staple and some tearing at the bottom staple. This cover might be detached. Let's take a look. Oh, you got about a 1/4 inch tear there on the cover, if you can see that. Cover is attached, but those staples are a little loose. Or I should say the staples are tight, but the cover's a little loose on the staples. Oh, look at that. Boom. It's almost worth buying this book just for this. So there is a full-page ad for Brave and the Bold number 28, the first appearance of the Justice League of America. So you could actually get away with saying that this is the first appearance of the Justice League of America, because it's an ad touting the book before its release. I mean, I've seen, like Sandman and even Batman, books touted as the first appearance because the ad featuring the character is, quote unquote, the first appearance in print. That's probably how you would sell it, first appearance in print of the Justice League of America. So that's pretty cool. Now the question is, did this ad appear in every DC comic this month or only a few? How many books carried that ad? I mean, it's probably all of them, but maybe not. Is that centerfold detached? Nope, I guess it's good. So, color fade there. I think I'm going to call this a 6.5. I don't want to quite go a 7 because that cover doesn't quite sit flush here. And you got the color fade and the blunting. And that blunting there, so I really can't go with 7. Oh, and you have this tear down here. Didn't see that the first time around. And that blunting. and this and this and this. And those tears there. I think I'm going to go with 6.5 on that. I probably should go with 6, but I think it's a really nice looking copy. I'm going to call it a 6.5. I think whoever buys that will be satisfied with it as a 6.5. Someone who's really fussy might want to call it a 6. We were ruled by the Emperor Beast, the elongated, 3-eyed, purple hairy Emperor Beast. So what's this say? R310. So again, I think that's a pull date. But boy, that's a nice looking copy. You got a little bit of a tear up here. A few, maybe only 3 or 4 stresses along that spine. All of the edges look pretty tight. This is kind of blunted. Oh, and you can see, that's too bad. You can see where the top is kind of, the cover sits a little higher than the pages. And so that means that that's got a little blunted here. Here you can see how that's, well, if I hold it there, maybe you can see it a little better. See how it's kind of pressed in, and you've got a few kind of minor tears. That's a bummer. A bummer. What are we doing here? Okay, we were ruled by the Emperor Beast. We knew that. Professor Eureka. That's cool. And even the text pages have that same trope. I became the fiery demon. So, well, this guy's got a kind of a costume. He could have competed with Adam Strange and Space Ranger. What did he do, though? I became a human spaceship. Well, there you go. Huh. The rocket lanes of tomorrow? What the hell is this all about? The Transworld Tunnel? That was a Legion thing. Legion of Superheroes had the Transworld Tunnels as well. In fact, they actually called them the same thing. Huh. Isn't that weird? Wicked weird. Oh, here we go. So this promotes the second appearance of the Justice League in Brave and the Bold 29, as well as, is that the first or second appearance of Rip Hunter in Showcase? And finally, I fought the Sonar Creatures. Well, good for you. Good for you. Yeah, you did a good job, I'm sure. I'm going to call that a 7. You know what? I kind of want to call it an 8, but I don't think I can just because of these, the blunting here along the top. But I think I can call it a 7.5. Maybe not. More stresses there. See, from the front, I can easily call it a 7.5. From the back, not even sure I really want to call it a 7. But I'm going to go with a 7. 7.0. That's still a pretty good looking copy. And the Alien Within Me. Oh, they're finally changing the format here. This one's a little rougher. We get a stain here. Some more stressing along the side. And of course the black makes them show that much more. Here it's R810. You got, is that a tear? Yeah, it is. That's about a 1/2 inch top spine split, if you can see that. And then we have a nice long fold right there. I think between that spine split and that fold, we're kind of down to a 5. Down to a 5. Not too bad on the back cover. Let's look inside. The Alien Within Me. I defied the Desert Phantom. Well, why wouldn't you? Missing that centerfold. The Monster That Changed Our Lives. Now, you tell me. Tell me that doesn't look very Fantastic Four-ish, huh? You've got the old guy, the young girl, the young guy, somebody else. That looks very Challengers, very. What date is this? Does this predate the Fantastic Four 61? Yes, it does, I think. Wow. That Monster That Changed Our Lives. Huh. That really does. That looks very kind of Fantastic Four-ish. And I Lived in Two Worlds. So we're kind of getting away from the format here, but not entirely. So I'm going to go with a 5 on this because of this long fold here and that spine split. The rest of the book looks pretty decent, so maybe I could call it a 5.5, but I don't want to. I don't want to, because I know somebody will get it as a 5.5 and complain. All right, 12 cents. This 12 cents looks kind of funky. And it was 10 cents. So I think we just changed to the 12 cent here and hadn't quite settled on our preferred font. See how that looks different? These two. Huh. So we were marooned with the Man Beast. Good looking copy. It's really just, blunting at the edges, all 4, but only 1 or 2 stresses here. You got R1012 written on the cover. You got some kind of ink smearing here, or is that part of the coloring? Hard to say. Hard to say. $12.95 for a BB gun. I wonder what that is in $20 from 1961. I'll look it up and I'll pop it on this video and I'll tell you how much that was. Wasn't cheap, I bet. But you sure wouldn't see a BB gun advertised in a comic book today. People would lose their shit. I have trouble saying that. We were marooned with the man-beast. And I'm looking for the centerfold nice and tight. That's what we like to see. I was a captive of the doomed city. And what's the front one? It's kind of a groovy looking alien. I fought for an alien enemy. Well, that's basically Enemy Mine right there. Whoever did the Enemy Mine movie, you remember that? That was a great movie with Louis Gossett Jr. and some guy whose name I forget. But they read this book and totally swiped the idea. I'm going to call this a 7.5. I really am. It's nice, except for the blunting, a couple of small tears, and I still don't know if that is an ink smear or if it's just, it might just be the coloring. I think I'm going to call that a 7.5. I think that's a nice looking book. That's what I think. You think what you want, but that's what I think. And let's kind of spread these out a little bit. I was Earth's blind defender. Well, Daredevil action there. R11-9 written at the top. Again, I think that's a pull date. Blunting there. Not too many stresses. A couple, 2, 3, 4. That one's kind of heavy at the bottom. Staple blunting here. Little bend there. Minor bends there, but that's still a real nice looking copy. It's kind of some chipping there in some of the pages, but that looks like a printing thing rather than a handling thing. So he was Earth's blind defender. Boom, boom. Is that going to end up being a tear there? What else we got going on? I battled the magic of Mathenwy? Mathenwy. Hansel? Hansel? We braved the trial of the ancient warrior. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I'm calling this book a 7. I don't want to quite go to a 7.5 just because you've got a little bit more stressing here. And that top corner's got, a little bit of a bit taken out of it. And there's some bending here. Actually, with this stressing, it actually looks like the cover was folded back. So that'll learn you, kids. Don't do that. Do not fold those covers back. The creature we dared not kill. There's some funky fin hands on that creature. I don't know how it got around. Not very efficiently, I would think. What's written here? R12-4. Got some blunting here. Not much for stresses except at that bottom staple. Fairly heavy right there. And you've got, if you can see it, it's not torn, but that corner is pushed in. Huh. Well, we've been 12 cents for a couple of issues here, but we're finally getting the apology letter. Where DC was like, yeah, we went up in price. Quit bitching. So, let's see. My Greatest Adventure. Statement of ownership and circulation. It was selling on average 220,000 copies a month. What do you think of that? That's not bad. Any book today would be thrilled to have that. The creature we dared not kill. We already know about that. Forgive me, Earthlings. Yeah, we're kind of getting away from that. I did this, I did that, and we did the other thing. They crowned my fiancé their king. Huh. Well, You poor thing. So I think this one's going to be a 7. I'd go 7.5 if that corner wasn't blunted in, and this corner wasn't kind of rough. And of course you have those heavy stresses there, but I'm going to call that a 7. I think that's a decent kind of a 7. Yeah, that's what I think. Where are we at? I'm going to put another one of these in. So now where are we at? We are at My Greatest Adventure number 69. And that's a decent looking copy as well, although blunted and torn up there. Some stressing at the top staple. Got some abrasions right here in the middle that I don't really like. The rest of it's nice and solid and straight all the way around. I would not be ashamed to have this book in my collection at all. Ooh, well, even with that, you got a 1/2-inch top spine split there, with actually a little piece missing. But even so, I was exiled to outer space. Well, I wonder what you did. You probably deserved it. I fell heir to the beast load. Beast load. Oh, there's so many sexual jokes I could make there, but I'm not going to. I was a courier from the past. That looks like the aliens from. I wonder if this is this? No, this isn't Gil Kane. Who is this art? But I tell you that looks very much like how the accordions were first depicted over in Green Lantern. That kind of bug-eyed, bald kind of thing. You look it up and tell me if you don't think I'm right. I think I'm going to go with a 6 on this one. Largely because if it was just a spine split, I could probably get away with a 6.5, but because it's actually a piece out, and actually with the abrasions as well here, maybe I should go a 5.5. I think that's what I'll do. I'll go a 5.5 here. 5.5. What would you do? Always looking for what you would do down there in the comments. Boom. We tracked the fabled fishman. Now this might be our best looking copy yet. We've got a little chip out up here at the top. But there are, well, minor stressing here that doesn't even break the color. One there that does, but other than that, not much. A little tiny bit of blunting there. Otherwise, not good. Draw any person in 1 minute. This is the Greg Land method. I'm a dink. All right, so what are we doing here? I went to an alien college. Well, that wouldn't be so bad, would it? It wouldn't be. So what is this? The Adventurers Club. So they are calling their letters page, which doesn't look like it's actually a letters page yet. Calling it the Adventurers Club. I won the Doom Castle. Mort Meskin art there. And what did this last person do? Oh yeah, we tracked the fabled fishman. The fabled fishman. All right, this one is a 7.5, I think. And I'll tell you, if it didn't have that chip there, I'd call it an 8, maybe even an 8.5. But I think with that chip, kind of got to go 7.5. Yeah, again, there's a little bend down here. But I'm going to go with 7.5 on that. The Haunted Beach. This is a nice cover. That's pretty cool. Got the Roman Legionnaire running up with Easy Company. Sergeant Rock. Probably not, but... Oh no, I told you it was a nice looking book, but look at this. Can you see that? That top corner is It looks like it's kind of chewed away. Maybe you can see it a little better from the back. Look at that. That whole thing is just clipped right off. Bummer. Oh, and we've got a water stain down here. Boy, you really got to look at these things, don't you? So between the water stain and that corner being chipped, I think we're down to 4 or 5, maybe a 5 if we really want to push it. Stay away from me, you might die. Centerfold's good, so that's nice. A little bit of browning here at the top, that more so than the previous issues we've looked at. We mastered the menace of Wrecker's Reef. And the front one was the Haunted Beach. Zip, spling, kavoom, kapow, kapow. Bill Eli. So, between the water stain and that corner being chipped, it's not much of a water stain. And you don't really see it inside, and you don't see it on the front cover. Well, very faintly, you can tell. I'm going to call this still a 5. So what do you think? This is someplace where we might have a disagreement. Maybe you would go lower than that on that particular issue. But again, I'm going to call it a 5, and you tell me what you would do. This is a fun cover. What do we get? Just 2 issues left? 2 issues left. We're almost there. So this is number 76. We're not far away from the Doom Patrol. When did they come in? 86, I think? A couple of grubby fingerprints in that cover. Somebody looks like they were eating a peanut butter sandwich when they read this. All right, so a little blunting there. Not bad. A little micro tear here. Blunted there. Blunted there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stresses. A little stress there in the bottom. Some of these stresses come all the way around to the back cover. Got kind of a fold here, although that might have come off the press folded like that. A little bit of a, you can maybe see little micro tears right there and there. When I say micro tear, it's like less than 1/8 of an inch. I was Earth's Meteor Man invader. Well, now, you tell me Meteor Man wouldn't have been a good superhero foil, or even a villain. Why did we only get just the one appearance of Meteor Man? Oh, what do we got here? Well, now, in just a few issues here, or in just a year, I guess I should say, the circulation has dropped quite a bit. We are now down to 175,000 copies on average per month. What was the last one? Was it 220,000? I don't actually remember. So 175, we're getting kind of close to maybe cancellation territory. At least, by the standards back then. I fled the track of Firehair. Firehair was a later DC Native American character. And we battled the Micro Monster. Mort Meskin. I don't care what you say. That monster doesn't look very micro to me, but that looks like a macro monster, if you want my opinion. Oh, I guess they grew him from just a wee baby. All right. So, where are we at? I think I'm going to go, can I go a 7 on this? I think I can. I really do think I can. I'm going to call that a 7. So, and again, it's just an accumulation of small things. And maybe somebody would be picky and call it a 6.5, but I think it's really a 7. 7 is a fine, very fine. Huh. He's got a dent in his skull. Kind of a robot man. Like, what is he, like a Russian general? I don't know, maybe we should open it up and look, right? But anyway, again, you may not be able to see it in the light, but you got a couple of fingerprints right here. in that whiteness. But otherwise, it's not bad. A little blunting there. Nice all through here. Couple of stresses here and around the bottom staple. And then some wear on those two outer covers. Back cover, you got a little micro tear here. Oh, and you get some more blunting, and those tears are all the way to the back side. They're a little heavier. Was he Russian? What is he? The Great Gamal. Wow. Cure our robot ruler or die. That's a funky looking hand. I don't think that hand is quite right, and that one's way too big, frankly. Where are we at? Oh, here we go. I was a target for 2 guns. Wow. Learn radio, television, electronics. You don't see many television repairmen these days, do you? We found the super tribes of tomorrow. Huh. Ooh, Alex Toth. Alexander Toth, no less. So what are we going to do with this book? We could get away with calling it a 7. We probably still can, even with those fingerprints there. But I think I'm going to call him a 6. I'm going to call this a 6.5. And I probably could call it a 7, but and you probably, I don't even know. I'm turning it around and hoping you can see it. But it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know, you would not notice it at first, but once you get a look at it, it's like, oh no. So I think I'm going to go with 6.5 on that. And somebody will buy this and think they got a great deal and wonder why I called it a 6.5. And then when they go to sell it, somebody's going to be like, what the hell are those big peanut butter fingerprints on there? All right, that's it. That's all we got. So, hey, thanks once again for taking the time to watch this video, for having a little bit of fun with me. Please do leave a comment if you want to take me to task for any of the grading, or if you just want to chat about this particular series. Until then, until the next video, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.